Money. It's what we need to get started, it's what we need to keep going, it's what we need to grow, and it's how we keep score in business. Andy had none when he started Duck Tours, and today he is in deep debt, but he's on the path to wealth. What is that path? How did he find it? His experience working in the finance community taught him that venture capital is available, but you have to know how to attract the right people. Andy did his research, put plans in writing, prepared an offering memorandum, but money didn't fall from heaven. It wasn't until he met Carrie McIndoe at Strategic Capital Resources that he was able to go forward. She was the catalyst. She raised the funds needed, $1.25 million. How do you find your catalyst? You become like Indiana Jones in search of the Holy Grail. You become like Andy Wilson, so focused, so enthusiastic, so persistent, you will find the money, or you'll change the business plan until you have one that can be funded by outsiders. Venture capitalists don't want little ideas. They want big ideas. Get a big idea, put it in writing, find some people who've already done it to coach you, and be willing to go without for months, maybe even years, before you actually see any cash for yourself. For this free information about starting or growing a business, you can call us. It's toll-free, 1-800-449-9309. And come to our website, sb2000.com. You can email us, sb2000@sb2000.com. The tour is full of heart-stopping moments for all of us history buffs, but Andy believes the most important person in American history has been overlooked.
Over on the left-hand side, you're going to see a statue of Mary Dyer.
Mary Dyer gave the world the right to religious freedom by putting her life to end. Boston was originally settled by the Puritans, and they passed a law that said the penalty of it was death if you did not practice their puritanical beliefs. And the worst part was that they came to this country to escape religious persecution. And Mary Dyer said, hey, you know, you're hypocrites. And she put them to test. And so they found her guilty, her only crime of being a Quaker, and they hung her on the Boston Common. As a result of that, her husband went back to the King of England and proposed an experiment called the Lively Experiment. And the king bought into it and signed a proclamation and made Rhode Island the first place on the face of the earth where people could freely practice their religion. That's 100 years before this country became independent. Mary Dyer, she's my hero. This woman ended her life to give the world the right to religious freedom, which was the first acceptance of diversity in the world, and nobody knows who she is.
Benjamin Franklin was born on Milk Street, but I learned something.
Well, tell me, darling, what'd you learn?
Yes. To drive a boat.
You learned how to drive a boat.
There was a defining moment the day I was 19 years old. My dad dropped dead in front of me, and then at that point, from that point forward, I was on my own financially, and the world has never been the same for me again. And I always got that sense that the world was against me. But the whole point is, if you think that way, you know, you'll never go anywhere in life, and you'll be a miserable person. And so it's optimism, you know, and passion, and that passion has to be optimistic passion. You know, you have to be optimistic about the world and about being able to do something. Otherwise, you'll never take any action, and your life will never move forward. My grandmother taught me that everything fits into banking someplace. Meaning, as you get older, you accumulate more and more knowledge, deposits of knowledge, and at some point in your life, you're going to withdraw that knowledge again. So everything fits into banking someplace. And so that's one thing I learned along the way, is that, you know, you always learn from your experiences, and don't let your experiences just go by without gleaning something from it. There's a lot of knowledge you can never get in college. And you know, the world is that's what I'm saying, is you go through the world, you accumulate that knowledge, and I think that's very important, is you accumulate it and try and apply it. There's a reason why to become very philosophical, the 10 Commandments say respect thy elders. If somebody does accumulate that knowledge through their lives, they're going to be a lot more powerful. Knowledge is power. And so I believe that to be very important. One of the things I'll tell you, when you have a business and after you've been through the struggle and then all of a sudden it becomes so wildly successful from the outside looking in, and from, you know, even passing your expectations. Part of it is kind of, you know, your head gets a little bit swollen at first, and you know, I thought I was ready to take on the whole world and expand the duck business everywhere I could. And all of a sudden I said, you know, do I want to have 55 employees in 20 different locations around the world? The answer was no. And so, and I look, I feel very fortunate again that this has taken off, and so I need to make sure that this business stays as a long-term sustainable business.
I am President and Chief Executive Officer of the Greater Boston Chamber of Commerce. What Duck Tours has done is built upon the culture and heritage of Boston and our whole region. In just 4 years, they have become a role model for other businesses throughout our region.
I'm the Regional Administrator for the U.S. Small Business Administration. Duck Tours is a great American success story. Entrepreneurs have a unique heart and a unique drive, and Andy Wilson has that personified. When he finished his remarks at the awards banquet for the Small Business Person of the Year, you could have heard a pin drop. I mean, I think his last line was, "God bless America. You couldn't do this, what I've done, anywhere else in the world."
Once you have a successful business, people look at you differently, and which bothers me. See, this is what bothers me, is that before people wouldn't listen to me. You know, I was a no one, and now you have this kind of successful, visible business, and now all of a sudden people hang on my words more. And so I realize I can do more with my life. The world is a difficult place, and there is a lot of sham, there is a lot of drudgery, but it really is a beautiful place. And with that kind of attitude, you can conquer the